Hello and welcome to Keyforge Premier League Weekly. This is a quick VOD that we're doing as a response to the tournament that we had this weekend. And man, it was absolutely shocking to me. And I have with me special guest Z, the big Z, as you can see here, and say hello.
Hey, that's me. Yeah, it was amazing. I was expecting like 50 people. In the end, we got 89 paid participants that are willing to donate a little money to the Keyforge cause, playing an event. Not, I guess they donate, but they're technically all getting it back anyway. But yeah, like that's 89 people that are interested in some form of official play, right, Jupiter? Like people want to
Well,
play this game.
I do remember that there was a time in the week where we were at 20 people and we were kind of worried about what the turnout was going to like, but we were like, 20 would be good fine anyway. But and then I was like, you know what, I'm going to put out this thing. And I said, if you hit 80, I'll throw in extra prize, special prize to the prize pool. And you were like, maybe we should only be 50. I'm really glad I did 80 now because 50 would have got crushed so easy and it wouldn't have felt as good. But
We ended right at 89. Like we were almost because when we first envisioned the event series, we were talking about like trying to get people more motivated about paid play, cash prizes, like a vault would be, right? Even though none of us has ever received any money for vault, by the way, just want to throw that out there.
yeah, vaults are definitely free.
Yeah, you don't get any. I mean, you get a plane ticket if you want to go to another one at best, if you can convince them to actually give you your voucher, which is another thing in itself. But yeah, we like 89 people showed up, played. We had payouts all the way to the top 8 ish, which we'll talk about in a second. It was 2 deck survival. So that's one of the things we talked about. What kind of event we wanted to run, right? We discussed 3 deck survival, but the timing on it was a little long. But with 2 deck survival, we ended up going 11 rounds, even though round 10 and 11 were the same player. The same players.
Yeah, speaking of, we saw some really strong play in the MM set, right? And we saw a lot of really interesting decks and stuff. And quite honestly, in the end, the decks that were there, I expected the players to be there, right? In the thing, but the styles of decks were a bit off from what I thought I would see. There were still some of the very prominent combos in both of the decks, but I was expecting to see a little bit something a little bit more different. I was expecting more Curiosaurus, and I was expecting more some control element to the game. But and ideally Jason was playing control, right? Because he had Ethan's Jar, which ended up being MVP caliber, right?
Well, I mean, Eden's Jar was in both of his decks, but neither of the decks you were playing would be considered a control deck.
No, they're not control, but that element of control is what skewed his deck even farther to the.
Yeah, I mean, it did highlight the power of Eden's Jar. We definitely a lot of us that are on cast or whatever that have talked about that card have talked about how good it can be.
Mm-hmm.
It definitely highlighted exactly how good it can be in all of the final matches that we saw. It was a significant part of the win con.
Yep, both games. And then even getting to the at the end,
there was. I was talking about there was about 4 games because both of Jason's decks had Denton's Jar.
Yep.
And there were 4 games that card. It didn't win the game alone, but it would have been much closer, and he possibly could have lost without it. So.
Yep. And we also had a good Quixel showing, which should have made you pretty happy, right?
Yeah, I'm a big Quixelstone fan, and that's it was a high tempo Quixelstone deck that actually went 9-0, and then lost both, and then they lost in the second deck in the finals.
And Leo has it up for sale on DOK, just so you guys
I saw that.
You guys want to go and find out. And I don't think he's asking crazy amounts for it, but get to talking to him before he decides to just make an auction out of it, I guess. But I can't imagine him letting that go. But I asked him if he wanted to trade because I was going to try to keep some memorabilia from our first event. But I can understand the fiscal the draw of the deck. But being an MM only event, I still think that deck would have been good in any other event as well. So.
That's the thing that I was the most impressed. I was looking at a lot of the decks on top, played by the top 6 people. I think many of them would have done very well in an open Archon. In fact, I played in the Glorious U, I don't know, so it feels like a month ago now. I don't know if that's accurate, but I went 8-0 on the day one, and the only deck that really challenged me to, like, I beat him, but like the closest match I had was against Jason's first deck, which went 4-1 because I think it dropped to Grant in round 5. And that's the crazy Nell draw my whole deck platform deck.
The Sad Panda deck.
Yeah, he called it Sad Panda. It's some what?
If you watch
Russian deck.
Yeah,
Russian deck.
Yeah, it was a Russian because on the stream we had him come in and tell us the story because we were all wondering where Sad Panda came from, and his wife, I guess, is Russian and speaks Russian, so like she told him that it's not an exact translation, obviously, because it doesn't translate to that like on a Google Translate or anything else. But she said it's basically embodying the idea,
the feeling or ideal of a sad panda.
Yeah, so there you go. That's Sad Panda. So now you have some history lesson on that. And I was quite happy that Jason qualified for season 2 because he's a guy that should have been in season 1. Honestly, like if he had more time, I'm very certain he would have qualified. He is an up and comer that was like just ready to kind of start pushing his name into like the people you see every U.S. Vault Tour winning. We hit COVID, so like, and he's been a long time guy that I've dealt with, and he's always been absolutely top-notch professional and super kind. So I was kind of
Jason's a fantastic player, super nice guy.
Yeah, so I cheer for those guys like the Scrowners and the Jasons of the world. Like I'm not a very unbiased commentator because I don't get paid to be. So, but with that said,
there's no gambling here. There's no bets. There's no stakes. KFPL takes zero funds from anyone.
Yeah. And speaking of which, let's get to the payouts, like what we got from the tournament. Like you guys said, we hit 88 players, 89.
We hit 89 registered and paid participants. One player did drop right before the event started. We gave them the option, like when they do drop like that with advance notice with a real reason, they had the option to get the refund or just add keep the money in the prize pool. And they kept it in the prize pool because, again, we have a great community. So yeah, our prize pool. I just have the payouts. I don't actually remember like the total, the funds, whatever. But first place payout ended up being. Remember, the buy-in's only $10, so this is a pretty solid payout for $10 investment.
Yeah.
First place prize, in addition to the invite to season 2, was $222.50.
Sweet.
Second place. Go ahead.
I was thinking that's sweet, right? Congratulations, Jason. That's like some Christmas money.
that's something. And then second place was $133.50. So still pretty solid for $10 investment.
And that was Leo Lindsay.
Yes. Oh yeah. The names Jay Powers first, Leo Lindsay second, and then in our third and fourth place slots. We have Newark and Stronglink. I don't know Newark's name, but Stronglink is Grant. That's the person that brings us the Crucible Tracker. Mm-hmm. Give that a little plug for him. Mm-hmm. And that was $89 for that payout.
Yeah, almost 9 times the investment. That's pretty good for fourth place, third and fourth place. Yeah,
for sure. And then 5th through 8th, which we'll talk about in a second, was $44.50. The solid 5th place were Jose MMB 97 and Xander for to win, which is one of my locals. It's Ryan. Good job, Ryan. Super well played. Mm-hmm. I think there was an opportunity that he could have probably snagged out that last win through some other play. After he talked to me about what a certain card does, I was like, that would have possibly won you the game.
Yeah, but we can talk about ifs all day. Like, there's lots of ifs.
But like that's the thing. That happens every game almost.
If you knew how to bet on a gambling den.
Yes. That other game. Yeah. Oh my gosh. But anyway, the 7th. Then we have 7th through 8th, but actually there ended up being 3 people that were in this slot. This was kind of on us as a learning curve type thing for Challenge. We talked about it in the background prior to the event. We knew we wanted the tiebreaker to, at the time when we were discussing things, to be point differential as in the number of keys, and we told everyone they need to report the number of keys, but we never actually said why we were doing that. And people are very much used to the tiebreaker in Challenge being the buckholes. So our 9th person place actually had the highest buckholes out of our 7th through 8th, and our 7th place actually had the lowest buckholes in our 7th through 9th. So we're just calling the 7th through 9th slot, which were Gorbelly, Kift 93, and X073D, all our top 8 players, and will be priced accordingly.
Yep.
And that's on us. We're going to be more clear about what our tiebreakers are. And honestly, we talked about that, not like no tiebreakers for that bucket making any kind of sense for survival anyway, because it's always about how far you go. That's the only thing that matters for survival.
Yeah.
So in the future, the next month will not be survival, so we can talk about next month. We do have a little bit of information that we can talk about today.
Yeah, we'll get into that, but before we do, thank you to those people. And Joe was gracious enough to, which is XO73D, that's Joe Caruso, and he was generous enough to say that we could still just donate the money to the season 2 prize pool. So even though we reached out to him to give him the prize, he, again, community being amazing, decided to just let the money sit in the pool for people. So it didn't even it ended up just being a win-win-win. And again, our community, 100% amazing, top notch, and it's like the support that we're getting is overwhelming. This thing grew at such a fast rate, and you guys are so excited for it. We just want to keep doing better for you. So the idea here was that after discussion and stuff like that, we wanted to be as fair as we could to the players. And again, we don't get any money out of it. So other than it's basically displaced prize money. That's all that we're doing at this point, because it would have been.
Funny thing about that, when we give a feedback form to everyone that exited, and 3 of the people said that we should take a cut. I was like, no, that's not our goal here. There are way more than 3 of us, but I know a lot of people see me, Jupiter, and Carl all the time. It's more than that are behind the scenes.
Yeah.
But all of us, all we want is Keyforge to survive the Rona and thrive.
Yeah, you know what? If you want us to take a cut, if you're one of those people that think we should take money off of this and do something with it, I have a proposition for you, and this is a really simple one. Go become a Patreon of DOK. Go become a Patreon of TCO. Go patronize the things that make Keyforge better for the people who are putting in the work and the really hard stuff that need it or could use it. Because we don't have server costs and stuff because we have TCO. So I myself am after this weekend and talking and stuff, I was like, why haven't I Patreon TCO yet? So I am now a Patreon of TCO. And I think that if you want to benefit us and you want to support us, support them, because they do so much work for nothing. It is ridiculous. So that's my plug to you. We don't want the funds and the money and stuff like that, and we need TCO to do what we're doing. So go help them. Spread the love.
I mean, honestly, the best way to support us is to keep signing up for events and get as many people as you know to sign up for events. Start talking about it like it's a vault. Hey, are you going to this event? Blah blah blah. People rearrange. I rearranged my life, my wife, and my son. We all would do massive things to get to a vault. If we can start having people have that level of interest for not just our events, but the TCO events, the Sanctimonious events, the ABR events, the code events.
Yeah,
that is how we spark a new interest in the game, and kind of because right now, we talked about this a bit behind the scenes. Our player base is what it is. We have the same kind of people showing up every time. I think I was super excited to listen to a conversation that I saw in the main chat about 4 or 5 people that this was their first event to play in.
Yeah,
that is awesome. That's what we need going forward. We need more people that have never done this to come on board and give it a go.
And think of it this way too, the cost of playing in these events now, you're getting high level payouts. You're getting better payouts than you ever would have got at a Vault Tour, right? We're not going to obviously compete.
Given $1 would have been a better payout than any Vault Tour.
Right, because you're paying to travel, you're paying to travel and do all these things, and all the things that would keep you from going to a Vault Tour, the travel restrictions and stuff, and competing with the best people that are basically wanting to be competitive, right? All those excuses are out the window now because you can do it from the comfort of your own home if you just have the same time. And we're trying to give you a month's head up for every event, right? So that's huge, in this and that. But the other thing is the cost, the $10 entry fee or whatever and stuff like that, that's really just to keep energy and prize support for people to come play. And you always play more if you're playing for something, right? And so it's kind of important to have something to give back, right? And we don't want to keep coming out of pocket. That's what the $10 is about. But the idea is if we have 250 people, that's a pipe dream probably, but prove me wrong. But if we had 250 people, think of how awesome that would be. And we would definitely stretch the prize support. We wouldn't keep it at top 8 if we were making those kind of numbers. As the numbers go up, we can spread to top 16s, maybe top 32s if we get stupid big. But I don't foresee that. But I challenge you. Make it
I,
happen.
I do believe we've considered going to top 16 if we start it. The event after we hit our first 100, we'll probably go to top 16. But like, let's
Yeah.
say next event we hit 100 people, it's still going to be top 8, and that's
Yep.
going to be one heck of a payout. But the event after that
Yeah.
would most likely then be top 16.
Yeah, we definitely are looking to scale the prizes a little bit because like we don't want just the top person to just take all of it, right? Like that's not. I don't think, and I honestly I don't think anybody in our community is that greedy that they want like all the money in the prize pool. Like we're very like generous as far as
Well,
the.
we are varying the events. Like, I think the player skill is definitely a thing, and I think
Mhm.
there will be definitely repeat people because we're gonna do this
Yeah,
once a month.
absolutely.
But
But
I
that's
would be
yeah.
fairly surprised if we got a repeat winner. I don't. I mean, hopefully this is going to go on continually, but I would be surprised if we got a repeat first place winner in this coming year.
Interesting.
But we'll see.
Interesting. I think you're gonna see the same top eights. Like you're gonna see well, not the same top eights, but you're gonna see the same. There's gonna be a group of people, like 4 or 5, maybe 6 people, that are gonna always be showing up in the top events because they're just really great players. And the idea is that we're going to start seeing it. Like kind of with League, I started seeing that, right? Like I've been monitoring the league and all the games, and I've seen almost everybody in the league play. And there's people that have come out of nowhere for me that I didn't realize were as good as they were because I never have heard of them. Like a good example is the Brazilian guy named Rodion. If you haven't watched one of his VODs yet, man, go watch the guy play. It's like he is inside of your brain. Like he's so good at playing the game. And he's had a little bit of a bad run in the last week here, but like this is the first time he really took a hit. And then go watch Andy Ming play. The guy is a machine, like calculated and plays nearly flawless. Like if you're gonna win against these guys, you're gonna have to play good, and but you can learn a lot just watching them too. And it's like the value I get out of it. Like I love watching people play. Z could tell you a little bit about Rodian.
Yeah, he played very well.
Yeah,
I punted one of my games, but
yeah, you did. But
it is what it is.
yeah, but he still played you very well, and you're a top level player too. So
I do okay.
yeah, but nobody in the league I think is a slouch. So like it's not easy. As you can see in the standings, if you go look, there's only like one group I think that's has 4 people pretty locked in. There's like I think a contest like for the fifth slot, like the fifth and fourth slot, but like every other group is like live to like 6 to 7 slots deep. So it's weird. And the challenge thing has been interesting as well. I don't understand or pretend to understand challenges algorithm, but it's what we got, so that's what we use. There's a couple of other programs that Phil has mentioned that we might look at, but for now, challenge is the thing that's linked to TCO, so it just makes the most sense. And the utility that we get from TCO and challenge is the reason we stay there. And I don't think it's going to change, but we'll see. Like
Yeah,
we this is like part of that feedback loop too, right? Like this is like the one thing I want to stress out of anything today is feedback, feedback, feedback. We want all the amount of feedback we can get. Leave comments on the videos, leave comments on whatever. Be constructive about them. Um, Trolls, I just ignore you. Like if you say something that's absolutely stupid or negative, I'm not gonna care that you wrote it. I just delete it or whatever, and I'm not gonna entertain it. But if you say, hey, I don't like this because and blah blah blah, then I will most likely respond to you with something either saying, well, I'm kind of stuck doing this right now because, and this is what I'm looking at fixing or how I'm looking to move forward, or I'll say, man, you're right. This is probably a great idea, and like we would talk about it, right? And we'd have discussion about it. I think that everybody on our team, Carl, myself, Z, I think we're all pretty approachable, and we do like constructive feedback. So that's your challenge, I guess. The next step, 2 things I guess to take away that Z and I want from you guys is we want feedback and we want quality ideas and things to see if we can make things better for you because this is like we are doing this for you. It's a service for you. Like
yeah,
we don't get to play. We don't get to do the things like the only time I get to play is when I'm in downtime and I get on and I basically just do like random games on the online. And I see a lot of you and a lot of you talk to me in the game and it's great. But you have other ways to feed back to us and that would be great. Like do that, use those. And secondly is to start to encourage your friends to play on TCO and explain to them it's not perfect, but it's pretty good. And
yeah.
I'm working on a VOD series with Coat. We are basically going to do a beginners to Keyforge series, kind of just reset and go back to when we were brand new to Keyforge, like how it is. And the idea is that we're going to try to make it as a good a quality as we can, so that new players that want to do this, you'll have a tool to use to kind of get them interested in it from people who they can actually interact with, right? Some of the VODs that you see out there from all these like more famous YouTubers and stuff like that, they talked about Keyforge for 10 seconds and then like they went on and like there's not really a way for a new player to interact with them too much, and we don't want that. We want them to be like, oh, Jupiter, that guy's all over the place. I'm gonna go talk to him, and he wants me to talk to him about how to play Keyforge or learn. Because for basics and intermediate, I'm great. I'll help you all the way through that. To be advanced, it's really on you to learn from watching other players or talking to the pros, quote unquote, like Z's, and getting extra information. I'm not the best player in the world, I know that, but most of the time it's because I'm not focused when I'm playing. But like I can still hold my own, and I do know plenty about what is good and bad in games. I just tend to like to play the bad stuff because it's fun, and I play for
Yeah.
fun. I play for fun
Yeah.
more than competitive. So, but when I want to be
Yeah.
competitive, I'll crank it up. So like I've never had a bad showing in Code or any other of the smaller things I've actually gotten to partake in. But it's just fun.
Yeah, the biggest thing is just spreading the word. Word of mouth is the best thing that we can use to get people to play. Just sign up for events, get all your friends to sign up for events, recruit some new people to sign up for events. Like that's what we need.
Yep.
Yeah.
And congratulations to Jay Philippeg for winning the 20 Dark Amber. Harlan was very excited to say Jay Philippeg when he won, even though it didn't sound right because he didn't have a clue what that word was. But and then Leo Lindsay had a wonderful day because not only did he just play second, but he also won the coveted $50 credit to my store with shipping. So of course I would have to get an Italian guy to win, so I have to ship to Italy, but I'm okay with it.
Of course.
Italy gets all the decks. But anyway.
I will be reaching out to Luxury Playstyle tomorrow to secure the shipping for the Dark Amber. Pretty
right.
solid.
Yep.
My son was actually most excited about that prize, and unfortunately he went 0-2, but he'll be back to try again next month, and we'll see if he fares better there.
Hey, tell him I know a guy that's pretty in with luxurious playstyle, and he runs a team that like is all about the luxurious playstyle tokens and stuff. And I bet you he would hook him up.
We'll see. We'll see.
Like,
we're gonna talk a little bit about the next event.
Yeah, I was about to say we're gonna start to close this up, but before we do, we have the December event coming, right? So mark your calendars. Z is about to give you a little bit of what we've talked about and kind of are in discussion.
So here's the what we know so far. We're gonna finalize some details today with Carl and Jupiter, but what we do know is that it is going to be December 5th. It's going to be some form of triad based on the feedback that we have. There's a lot of decisions to be made about that. But one of the neat aspects, since it is December, it's kind of like the holiday season of giving. I'm not going to specifically mention what holiday because there's a lot of different views on that out there, right? But it is
We're not even to Thanksgiving yet. Sorry.
Well, we're talking about a December event.
I know.
So it's between both of the major holidays, at least in the States. Mm-hmm. So we're going to reach out to some organizations and specific people that do donate, and we're going to try to set up some kind of matching for every registrant or participant to get a certain dollar amount matched to go to a charity organization. We're currently debating between a couple. I believe what was our front runner at the moment that we're thinking about? I can't.
The front runner that we have on the billet. We've had discussions about different ones, but I think the one that we're leaning heavy towards is called Doctors Without Borders. It's a COVID group of people who basically are traveling to places that need help, and they basically I have friends that are actually in that group that are traveling around and basically frontlining the fight against COVID. And we think that because of the COVID tie-ins with the mental health and what we're trying to do to give you guys a release from this stress, and what they do to combat it directly would be a good tie-in for us. So I think that I'm pretty sure that's going to probably be the heaviest vote, but we'll see. But it's definitely one that's the best option so far, I think.
Yeah, but we're going to reach out to some people and try to get some dollars matched per registrant from different people to go to that organization. Mm-hmm. So for each person that registers, we're going to try to get some money donated to that organization for the December event. So there's another reason to get out there, get your friends to sign up, make sure you clear your calendar. Mm-hmm. Based on the poll, I do believe the start time will actually be the same. At first, I thought it looked earlier, but then when I tallied up the rest of the votes for the ones that were later, basically 50% of the people said it was perfect, and then we had 25% of the people say they wanted an hour earlier, and the other 25% of the people said they wanted it later. So in the end, it settles right back to where it was. So I think we're going to have the same start time, and that was know what time it was. I'm trying to get the right time
11.
for you. It was.
11.
We will
11 Eastern.
advertise it in Eastern time as 11 a.m. Eastern time
It's 11 a.m. Eastern time. For it's I think it's
for the December
four.
5th. Yeah,
And I'm saying I think it's 4 o'clock GMT. I don't
I have no
remember.
idea.
Yeah, I
I
don't
let
know.
Carl take care of that.
Yeah, it's 4 o'clock
And
GMT.
it for what it's for somehow it does seem that the
Maybe not.
Europeans are fairly good at knowing what Eastern time is.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's because of New York or whatever, but they seem to do okay with that.
Yeah, you have to understand too. The reason we pick 11 o'clock Eastern is because our stretch is heavy. Our heaviest stretch is Western U.S. to like England slash Israel. That like that stretch Germany like that kind of parallel. So everything else outside of that is like more like fringe as far as like how many people we get
Hmm.
playing and stuff like that. So, but at 11
Yeah.
we still give the APAC people a chance to play. But I know it's not a great comfortable hour, but at some point. We have to cater to the bigger numbers, unfortunately. And then every once in a
Yeah.
while, we'll have an APEC, like we'll do something closer to the European time slot, like the Germany time slot, because that's kind of like the central point for that region. And then we'll be the fringe. We'll take the fringe once or twice, but that's like in the future, and we'll figure out that how that goes too, depending on where you are coming from and who's participating, right? Like we do want to try to
Hmm.
make it fair. So if you guys want us to have a more APAC friendly thing, have more APAC people playing, and then we will
I
be
think
able
we
to.
still ended up having two people in this
Yep.
event that were
Well,
APAC.
Gorbelly that placed top eight was a Filipino. So yeah, like
Yeah.
and he plays all the time, so he's like just into playing it. But I know for some of the APAC people, the older ones, it's a little bit hard to stay up that much.
Yeah, but with 11 a.m. Eastern time, it's a playable range from the Pacific US all the way to um
Germany.
basically Eastern Europe.
Yeah.
It is a playable time frame that people seem to be able to manage. It is a little rough on the Eastern Europeans, and it's a little bit rough on the West Coast. One of my own teammates was whining quite heartily about waking up and did not choose to participate. So I hope he changes his mind the next event. But hey, I mean, I get it. He's got kids. It's early. That's a thing.
I get it. I
Uh,
mean, I have Harlan, so 11 o'clock works perfect for me because it gives me time to get him settled, and then I get to kick in. So. But I think that's all we got. Sorry that this one is going about a half hour, almost podcast length, right? But we wanted to get all this information out to you and help and understand you. And most of all, we wanted to thank you all for the overwhelming support that you guys have given us. And when I first envisioned this, I did not expect it to be this. And that's not a bad thing, like I guess, because it's like way more than I ever expected. Even though I had what I thought were pretty lofty expectations and goals, like I tried to set them high so that I could reach for something. I'd rather fail than just be comfortable. So, but you guys have blown it away to a point where it's like I wonder, like, how do we keep this momentum, right? And so, feedback, feedback, feedback and recruit, recruit, recruit. Those are the two words for our camp: feedback and recruit. Like we want more players. We want to try because right now it's hard to get new players into it with COVID and stuff like that. But
mhm.
the way we get that to happen is one by one, word of mouth.
Word of mouth and just sharing your excitement. Like I
yeah,
mean, that's a sales thing. The more enthusiastic you are, the more people are going to be drawn to it. And that's the thing. Like when you're talking about the events, like get excited. Like, I was I didn't get to play, which is super sad. This whole event was my brainchild because I love MM. I wanted MM to be featured. It
mm-hmm.
actually was featured exactly how I had hoped. This was Vault style ish. It was awesome. Sad I didn't get to play, but I am
Yeah,
beyond excited that so many people had that experience.
yeah.
I feel they got to experience what MM can do, and that's what we saw.
And,
It's fun.
and I was excited to have like near real time stream, like because like you have to have a second delay or whatever. But like that was actually with the closed hands and stuff. It went a lot better than I expected it to. But like I was very happy because like being able to talk to you guys and get like live feedback or like live interaction and talk is important. And part of the structure for the top eight, part of it was because people raised that up in the chat and stuff. So we were able to go, oh wait, let's look at this, right? And as always, when you guys give us good inputs and good ideas, we're going to execute them. We're going to basically try to look into the issue and see if it's like something we need to change or not. And I think so far we have a pretty good track record of favoring in the erring in the way of the people, right? Of the people that are playing and stuff and taking good care of you. So Hopefully you feel that way. If you don't, then give us some feedback. Tell us what you think is bad, and we'll do our best to take that into account and try to continue to bring you the product that we're bringing you. So hopefully you enjoy it. But that's all I got really. So Z, do you have any parting words before we say goodbye?
Just keep forging. Play some Keyforge. Have fun. I'll see you December 5th.
Yeah, and I will see you on the Crucible. If you see me in there randomly, I always, if I don't have that I'm live streaming, I'm not live streaming. People always ask, but I usually try it when I'm live streaming to put that it's a live stream. But KFPL underscore Jupiter, come play a game with me, chit chat, have some fun. I don't really play overly competitive decks, so if you bring one, that's fine. I don't mind getting my butt kicked. If you have a deck that nobody else likes to play against, bring it against me. I'll play you 100 times with it. I don't care. Um, it's I just play it to have fun, and most of the time I'm being beat up by Harlan anyway. So, but have fun, enjoy your time, and I will be seeing you, or some of you, in the ABR because I am signing up to play because I do need something competitive to do. I'm getting to that point where I got that
And
itch.
I'm a team captain. Maybe I draft you, but
I doubt it.
do you win games, Jupiter? Do you?
My coat record is really good. Like I don't lose very often, and I'm always stuck with the worst how. Like I always take the worst roll, so I think I do pretty good. And when I'm actually
I think you'll actually get like there are 8 team captains this league this season,
yeah,
so
that's good.
it's going to be hard to get people that have like no names because there's a lot of people that don't stick out. So your
Yeah,
name sticks way out. You're going to be a hard choice person to grab.
I don't think so because if anybody watches my streams, they know I hardly ever play with attention. So like
I would be shocked if you don't make it like out of round 3.
well, whatever. I'm flattered no matter where I get picked, and since I have to get picked, I'm flattered, so I'm good. Anyway, so
Well,
thanks.
congratulations, you've been drafted.
Thanks. But yeah, I'll do my best for my team. So the lower you draft me, the better. Hopefully, I'll be. So
It's like I met expectations. I was drafted 72nd.
yeah. I want to be the Tom Brady of the league. I want to be the all-star that comes out of
Oh
nowhere.
god.
Just kidding. But anyway, so that's all we got. So hopefully you guys are having fun. Thank you again for tuning in, and we will see you soon. And start looking for the December poster. It'll be on all my streams when I stream and stuff. Right now the stream schedule for me, I will say too, is a little bit inconsistent because with Harlan shifting to mornings and all the shifts that he's made for school, plus being home now with the COVID quarantine for a couple days and stuff like that, I'm probably not going to know what I'm doing for streams for a bit. But whenever I get a chance to get on live, I will. And that's basically really to just be casual, play games with you guys, and chit chat at this point because all the videos are going pretty much directly onto YouTube that I get. We don't have a downtime for that anymore. If there's games that you guys want to watch, like kind of do like a watch party on them, we would be glad to consider that. But you got to tell me, you got to give me that feedback, and we will be more than glad to work that out. But again, like I said, the production quality of the videos by season 2, we'll have it down to a science, and it will be way better. This season has been kind of sporadic and weird, but I think we're getting it. And again, give me inputs and feedback because all the growth I've had is because of that. Thank you to Ira, Muffins, Clint, Phil, Steve, the names that you don't know that are helping. Blake is still, part of our group. He's busy, so like he's not directly, but he's still a big part of like what we're trying to do. He knows he's in the loop. So all you guys, like, even though me, Carl, and Z take up the light, these people are doing just as much work behind the scenes, and we are over grateful for them as well. So with that said, TCO also never last but not least, go support them, help them out, because without TCO we don't have this league. So that's all I got. So Z, say goodbye, and I'm out for real.
See ya. Happy forging. Peace.